YouTube. I'm Bree Barton. I'm a YA author and a vlogger. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Be sure to sign up for my newsletter, links below. In fact, this goes for everyone, even if you're not new. The first 10 people to sign up for my brand new newsletter will be entered into a special giveaway. It'll take you 15 seconds, so click that link below, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you could click that link while you're at it. I'm super excited about today's video because I'm actually answering one of your questions. Jillian Merkel wrote me to ask, what is your biggest tip on writing? Which is really hard because how do you pick just one? If you've watched my last two videos, you know that I have been in Iceland for a couple weeks doing book research for the second book in my Heart of Thorns trilogy. And I realized that's my answer. My biggest tip for writing? Have adventures. Now, I found a really cheap ticket to Iceland, which is the whole reason I went. I can't always afford to go to different countries. You can have adventures wherever you are. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use my time in Iceland as a way to answer this question. Come with me, friends, to a land of ice and more ice, witches, sorcerers, skier, which is kind of like yogurt. These are my 10 tips for how to have a book adventure. Tip number 1. Take lots of photos. In Iceland, I saw so many beautiful things. I took so many beautiful pictures, and I will definitely be looking at those pictures as I go in and layer in detail and description and texture and color and flavor in my book. Tip number 2. Stop taking pictures. This was something I had to remind myself of a lot in Iceland because I wanted to take pictures of everything. I mean, every few minutes I was pulling my car to the side of the road. I actually pulled a little too far off the side of the road and got stuck in some snow. Taking pictures is great because it's a way to capture all the amazing things you're seeing. It can also make you lazy. When I reach for my phone and take a bunch of pictures, I don't always have to remember what I saw because I think, oh, I got 42 pictures that are basically all the same. So I don't log the information in my brain in the same way. If I force myself to stop taking pictures, or maybe I say, okay, one picture of the glacier, then the phone is going in my pocket, I have to actually look at the glacier. I have to log in my brain in words and colors and descriptive adjectives what that glacier is like, rather than depending on my phone to do it for me. Tip number 3, do something that scares you. I don't mean like wrestle a bear. What I mean is push yourself out of your comfort zone in little ways that feel vibrant. What you definitely don't want to do is step through the ice into a glacier. I fell through the ice into a glacier. I'm gonna go change my pants. I didn't mean to. I just saw other people out on the ice, so I thought it's a glacier. It's millions of years old. It's probably frozen solid. But actually, no, it was not. Please don't go to Iceland and step through a glacier and tell them I told you to do it. Maybe I should change this tip to something else. I guess all I mean by this is nudge yourself out of your comfort zone. Tip number 4. Do weird shit. You're gonna have the opportunity to see some weird shit. Be open to it. For part of my trip, I stayed in this big, old, creepy house, and I was the only one in it, across the street, literally across the street from the Museum of Icelandic Sorcery and Witchcraft. Like, I could see the witchcraft sorcery sign from my window, which was only weird because there was also a crucifix on the wall of my bedroom with a Bible in it. And then there were all these doll clothes or little girl clothes around the house that were like framed. One of them had a Bible in the frame. The only thing creepier than little girl clothes is when they're framed with a Bible. It was wonderfully weird, and I made full use of the weirdness. I mean, when else in my life was I gonna get to drink milk out of a giant wine glass with a black cat? I also went inside the Museum of Icelandic Sorcery and Witchcraft, and I saw the necropants. Necropants. Yep, exactly what you think they are. Number 5. Talk to the locals. There's no substitute for talking to people in the places you visit because they're gonna be able to tell you weird stuff that you wouldn't know otherwise. There are witches in my fantasy series, which is of course why I wanted to go to this wacky museum, and the owner of the museum was this eccentric guy, Icelandic man, probably in his 60s, and oh my goodness, he had so many stories.
Yeah, maybe I tell you the story of the first girl I fell in love with.
Oh, is she a witch?
I guess so.
Talk to people, listen to them, pick up their idiosyncrasies, the ways they talk. All that can be rich fodder for when you're writing your own characters. Tip number 6, shut up and stop talking. On your adventure, find a place where you can sit quietly and observe. Listen to what people are saying. My last day in Iceland, I went to the Blue Lagoon. Most people are there in like groups or as a couple, and I was just there by myself, just sort of creepily lingering on the outskirts of people's conversations. Just sort of open my brain to all these different lives and stories. Write wherever you can. One of my best dinners I had was this amazing dinner with lobster tails. Oh, so good, right on the bay. So I had my notebook, and by candlelight I was writing in my notebook. If you get stuck writing, okay, just have fun with it. I ended up tracing the candle in my notebook to make a flower. Embarrass yourself. What do I mean by this? That's a good question. Embarrassing yourself means different things for different people. And it can help to be able to laugh at those things and sort of roll with the punches. Or watch as the punches roll with you. And by punches, I mean all of my toiletries. Also, I brought my fuzzy robe with me to Iceland, which is a little intense considering it took up like half the space in my suitcase. But I knew that if I had a cozy, cuddly thing to put on, and when I was in the hostel or the Airbnb, I would be more inclined to cuddle up with a hot cup of cocoa and write. And it worked for the most part. Talk to yourself. My Mimi used to say that when you talk to yourself, you're talking to the devil. Which wasn't actually very nice. Maybe she just said that about me. I disagree. I think talking to yourself can be one of the best ways to channel your experiences on your adventure, your trip, into the writing. If you're feeling blocked, you're not even having to write. You're just talking into a recorder describing the world around you. And then when you get home, you can transcribe your own words and say, oh, that's a really pretty image. I like how I described that. Or, oh, I like that, but I could, add this or take out this word. It's exercising the verbal part of your brain that you're going to be using when you're writing, when you're eventually back at your laptop. On this trip, talking to myself, I invented whole subplots. I figured out characters' relationships. It was incredibly fruitful. And yes, maybe I'm the devil. Necropants. If you don't write, that's all right. Because here's the thing, guys, to be entirely honest, during my 2-week trip to Iceland, I did not get done as much writing as I hoped I would. And yes, I did beat myself up about it. And then I reminded myself, I'm pre-writing. Pre-writing is essential. Pre-writing is when you're opening your mind up to new ideas and new stories and new images, and you're seeing things that you wouldn't normally see. And that can happen whether you're in Iceland or you're in your backyard. You're open. I spent 2 weeks immersing myself in this different culture, getting people to talk to me about their myths, their stories, seeing these beautiful things, the blue ice cave. I've never seen anything that beautiful in my life. My pictures look like they're from National Geographic, and that is not because I am a good photographer, because I'm not. One of my favorite writers and writing teachers, Kevin Brockmeyer, said something to me a few years ago that I've never forgotten. He said, don't read to feed your writing. Read to feed your humanity, and let your humanity feed your writing. I love that. And I think the same holds true for having adventures. Don't have adventures to feed your writing. Have adventures to feed your soul, to feed your humanity. And that is going to make you a better writer. That is going to feed your writing. So those are my 10 tips for how to have a book adventure. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel. Hit that little bell below if you'd like to know when I do new videos. I post every Thursday. Like this video, share it with other people. Don't forget to sign up for my newsletter. If you're one of the first 10 people, you get entered into a special giveaway. But I will be doing monthly giveaways and raffles. Go have adventures, then come back, tell us about them. Bye, guys!